Well, in this lesson we will quickly see how to move both EBS volumes and snapshots between regions and availability zones. So, back to the volumes section. I have my two EBS volumes from my two EC2 instances. Notice that they are in the US East 1A availability zone. Now, we've seen how we can create an AMI and then launch an instance from another availability zone. But in this case, I just want to copy this 30 gigabytes root volume. This is the volume that contains the Windows Server OS and all the applications on it. So, what we can do is, already selected the volume, click on Actions, Create Snapshot. I'll give it a description like SON Server, and then Create Snapshot. Once it's done, I go to Snapshot, and notice that it's in pending status. Remember that snapshots are stored in Amazon S3, so we are already moving this data to S3. Now, when I say they're stored in Amazon S3, it doesn't mean if I go to S3. I'm going to see my snapshot here. You guys don't see it here. It's behind all of this, on the AWS side. So it's stored in S3, but it doesn't specifically ask you for a location in some Amazon S3 bucket to do that. So, back to my snapshots. If I refresh, we can see that it's already completed and it's available. Now that I have the snapshot, I can do a couple of things. First of all, with the snapshot selected, I go to Actions, Create Volume from Snapshot, and create it, in this case, in another availability zone. And after I create this volume, I can only associate it with EC2 instances that are in the same availability zone as this EBS volume. So, I can change the volume type, the size. Further down, I can encrypt it with a KMS key and then I would create the volume. The other thing we can do is copy the snapshot to another region if we want to. Benefit. Well, maybe because I want to move an application to a new region to offer more availability and minimize costs, or also for disaster recovery cases. Then, I can select the snapshot, Actions, Copy Snapshot, and I can select a different region. Let's say I want to copy it for the US West 2 region which belongs to Oregon. I could down here again say encrypt it with a KMS key and then Copy Snapshot. And once that is done, if I go to the Oregon region, notice that it is copying the snapshot from the Northern Virginia region to here in Oregon. This takes just a few minutes to do. Of course, it's all going to depend on the size of it. I'm going to wait for this process to finish, and we'll be back here in a moment. Well, after a few minutes, notice that the copy has been completed. Now with this, I can select it, Actions, Create Volume from Snapshot. I leave all this as it is for now and press Create Volume. If I go to Volumes, here I can see the volume created from the snapshot. And with this, I could already attach it to an EC2 instance that I launch from this region in Oregon. Or if I go to Snapshots, select it, Actions, Create Image, and here I could create an AMI so that I could then use it when I'm launching an EC2 instance. So I can give it a name like WinServer Oregon. I leave all this as it is for now and tell it Create Image. Then I go to AMI, and here is, from here, I select it and say, Launch Instance from an image, and go through the process of setting up the EC2 instance. And when I launch it, it will be an identical instance to the one I have in the other region in Northern Virginia, and so I could implement high availability of my application on Windows Server. Of course, I have to use other AWS services, but this would be a start for that. So, there are quite a few options for types of scenarios. For now, that's it for this particular lesson.